It's Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube. Entertainment guru, Silicon Valley entrepreneur, author, and speaker. It's Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube. Do you have what it takes to become who you truly are destined to become? Yes. Join the thousands of viewers around the world and become a part of the conversation. It's Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Mauricio Mejia Live. This is our second show of the all new season. We're getting ready to get into our 2025 year, and I know that we're still working on some of the details. Our microphones, we got a new camera lenses, we got just a bunch of new stuff, bunch of new toys that we're going to be playing with here. And at the same time, we got a lot of interesting guests that are going to be on the show. So today, I want to welcome an amazing human being that has a great story she's gonna be sharing with us today, and we're gonna be talking about women, Latina women specifically, adversity, and we're gonna be diving into what that means, and business, entrepreneurship. That's right. And I want to welcome today Ofelia Ferere. We're gonna
French way.
We're gonna get back. I love it the French way. But we're gonna get into today, talking about some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, you were sharing some pretty interesting stuff with me, and
right.
I think we want to dive into it. But first and foremost, we need the audience to get to know who you are, and we need to peel back the layers and dig deep.
Definitely.
And I like to always start it as your upbringing.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Literally born and raised in San Jose, California. Yeah.
Heart of Silicon Valley. Here we go.
The Silicon Valley before it was the Silicon Valley. So I went to, actually went to school my whole life in downtown. I went to St. Patrick's School, private schoolgirl, Catholic school, and went to Notre Dame.
Nice, all girls school downtown.
All girls school, yeah.
A lot of trouble there. I'm sure.
Ready to break out of that for sure. But yeah, I was. My dad immigrated here from Argentina as a student exchange student and went to Stanford.
Nice.
So I come from a very prestigious, smart family.
Okay.
He was not an entrepreneur though. He was the hardworking, slow and steady, wins the race kind of guy. Made some really nice, wise decisions. So I got a lot of my wits from my father.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
They fell in love in Mexico, and he brought my mom from Mexico. She left her whole career behind, modeling and a nurse.
Got it.
And when they moved here, it was all about me. She raised me. That's it.
So you got the beauties from your mom or your dad? Here we go.
You know what? They were.
Or it was a combination.
They were a beautiful couple. They are
a beautiful.
Beautiful couple. My father has passed away. He passed away 3 years ago.
Okay.
That caused a lot of adversity in my life. I'm an only child.
Got it.
So not a lot of, support there because, when you have a family, I always kind of wished I had brothers and sisters, but I didn't. So I was, only child. So I kind of felt like I was a little bit mature for my age, I guess.
You had to grow up quick.
Yeah, you grow up, you learn to be a little bit more poised at a young age. But my father was a world traveler. So I traveled the world a lot with my parents. I was like the third wheel, every summer in Paris.
I don't think they had a choice. So
right.
They weren't going to leave you behind.
Back then, there was no babysitters and stuff like that. Not the way we have them now. Nannies. Wow. Yeah, no, that didn't exist in the Latino community.
So were you living in what part of San Jose or what part of the area?
Yeah, on the east side.
Okay.
Story and King.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Story and King. My parents, when they bought their home, it was a new development. And what's interesting is
we're talking about some years now.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you remember Story and King cruising and stuff. Yeah, I'm that girl. And
private school girl out cruising now in the lowriders.
But they knew I couldn't go to school there.
Right.
Public school was not okay here. Kala, that hood.
Yeah.
And so it became like, no, you're not going to go to school. So you're going to go to private school like your father, that kind of thing. And so I was a little sheltered in that way. I didn't have to suffer the hard streets of the east side, but I did know it. So it was like poised on the inside, but I knew how to handle myself.
Yeah. So you walk out, nobody thought that you had the street skills until they had to test you probably.
And that happened.
Yeah.
That happened on the east side for sure.
You're probably talking about early 90s.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 94, yeah.
There you go. So early 90s, I was living in Los Angeles, but I did move up to the Bay Area in 94.
Okay.
And I caught the tail end of what the Bay Area flavor was in the 90s, but it run parallels to what was happening in Los Angeles.
Right.
LA, we had our East LA, we had our Whittier Boulevard, we had all of our cruisings. I mean, so different areas in California were running parallels,
right,
of that era. So the 90s
cholos,
were fun.
all that stuff.
The cholos trying to get into parties, doing parties and all that. I mean, but the whole 90s scene was, to me, when I look back at the 90s, it couldn't have been a better era. I mean, coming out of the 80s and then going into the 90s, it just couldn't have been.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun, and the energy and the development, all the stuff that just was transforming.
Yeah.
Again, coming out of the 80s was just bananas.
Yeah, I don't remember much of that, but being younger, but we had fun. That was when you could still buy alcohol, and people weren't carding you so much back then. We were getting into 21 and over clubs. We were bad. we were testing the waters constantly.
Hey, I run parallels with you. 16 years old, 17 years old, I was already in the nightclubs in LA.
Right. I love to dance, so that was the thing. You could only get into the clubs if you were 21 and over. I guess there was city nights in San Francisco, but we were dancers. We loved to dance. We were singers. We were artists.
Right. Up and coming artists.
Up and coming artists. Actually, I did sing a lot. I was on the worship team for many years at Cathedral Faith, so I actually do like to sing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you touched on the whole club scene. I mean, so it's funny true story. When I came up to the Bay Area, my first break was City Nights.
Nights.
I met the general manager at the time, or vice president of the corporation, which his name was Ray Bobbitt, and I remember I had came up from LA. That LA vibe was not up here, and the Bay Area had a different kind of just its own scene.
Right.
But they craved for things that came from LA. So when I moved up to the Bay Area, I had that edge. And I remember that was my first nightclub that I was able to convince him to give me an opportunity. Failed tremendously, but I learned that the Bay Area is a different market for nightlife.
It took another life of its own. It was fun. It's not the same anymore. I guess now one of my the girls that works for me, she cracks me up. She's in her 30s, and she says, "Oh no, if you go to the club, it's just like it's like just to pick up and that's it, hook up. It's not like back then, right? Back then we actually danced. We actually had fun. It was like a thing. You could go with your girlfriends. It was just a fun thing to do.
The nightlife was it is a part of my blood. It's a part of who I part of the DNA, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously, it gets old, just like anything, right? You have to eventually grow up,
right?
And then you have to then pivot and figure out what you want to do in life. And business for me has always been in my blood. Entrepreneurship has always been in my blood, and I know that entrepreneurship has been in your blood.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't when I got pregnant very young, and I married my children's father, and they owned their own business, that his parents. And so I learned a lot of little, skills there at 18. And I just realized what the hustle was. Yeah. I saw them do it and get successful at it. And I saw the blood, sweat, and tears, which was really cool to see that, okay, well, if you want to start a business, that's what it takes. And sometimes I saw them fall asleep at the desk, that kind of hustle. Yeah. And they made it, though. The money started pouring in. They were taking care of their families. Everybody was getting a job that needed a job. It was really cool to see that rise. And then, I went to business school because I figured I might as well do something. Okay. And so I did get a few, a little bit of that. And then this one thing that my mother said to me when I was very young, she said, think about and dream about what kind of business you would want. Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking and looking at her and going, I don't know, that's a weird question. And she said, dream. Ooh. And I didn't know what that meant either at the time. It was big. Like, okay, what does dream mean? And then she said, think about being a doctor or a beautician. And back then it was a beautician. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And she said, people will always be sick and women will always spend money on their beauty. Wow. And Lord, let me tell you, COVID proved that. Women were sneaking into my backyard to get their facials. Yeah. Make sure nobody's looking. I mean, it did. It actually proved to me that she was right. Yeah. Women will not give up their beauty treatments. It's insane.
There's certain businesses that are recession proof. People will always consume, and people will always waste.
Hey,
so
yeah.
the trash industry is never going to go anywhere, and the food industry.
I thought you were going to say consume alcohol, because that got bad too.
Oof, well, that's part of the consumption as well.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so business and obviously, you got to learn the hustle.
Right.
What was it that inspired you? Because that's what kind of starts to plant the seeds and gives you the reason and the whys.
Yep.
In the directions that you want to take on.
You know what? You hit it right on the head. When I got successful with my first business, that I lost everything during COVID. It was the sad story. But, when I got successful with that first business, it was so that I could prove to myself that I could do it on my own and not have to depend on my ex-husband. I had 3 children, and I knew I had to hustle. I was like, if this thing doesn't work out, and when it doesn't, because I needed to leave him. He was an abusive man. And I decided to leave. And that was my why. And I did. I became very, very successful.
Nice.
And 12 years, eight girls that worked for me, women that worked for me. And then, it all comes to a screeching halt, like many business owners.
Yeah.
And I was one of the 2,000 that did not survive COVID. I was really angry.
Yeah.
And I lost everything. I had to sell my house. I actually moved to France. I moved to a whole new country, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I have nothing.
What was your business at the time?
So I own a beauty salon spa.
Okay.
So, I do permanent makeup, nail. Now we do nails. It's a full beauty salon.
Okay.
And facials. Now we're really tapping into the lymphatic Brazilian massage, remodeling. Maybe you've heard of it,
Okay.
body sculpting.
Yeah, body sculpting. I've heard of that, yeah.
So we are globally trained in everything that I do.
Okay.
So everything I learn, I bring back from Europe. I don't study hardly in the U.S. because everything starts in Europe anyway. Fashion, beauty, anything that we learn really starts over there, and then it migrates here.
Got
so
it.
I'm always on that edge where I know that I'm bringing in what's new and trending. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. And is that what you got going on now as well?
Yeah. So then, losing everything, I decided I'm with the encouragement of my family, friends, and loyal clients, an opportunity did arise, and I decided to do it all over again. But it was not easy. There was, a lot that happened in those 3 years when I lost it all. Lost my father.
And this is during COVID.
During
right?
COVID.
Yeah, so you got from 2020 to 2023, 24, let's just say. So a lot has happened in the last 4 years.
A lot. I mean, talk about feeling like you hit rock bottom. That means a lot of things to people, and it means a lot of different ways to hit rock bottom. Mine was a rock bottom. I mean, it really did come to a life and death moment for me where I realized, no, my life's not over, and there has to be a purpose.
Yeah.
And what's the purpose? Why am I going to do this all over again?
Right. Well, then that's right. Why?
Why?
And then the resilience that comes with it, because being an entrepreneur is not easy, and that's what we talk about here. Everyone has a journey.
Right.
Everyone goes through their bumps in life.
Yes.
I shared with you, my entire career, or my entire lifetime since I was 15, I'm at 48 now. So all of those 43 years, or all that time of my life, I've known what it's like to be in business for myself. At one point, I knew what it was just to be successful. And then when you lose it all, damn, that it hits, right? And it makes you realize, reflect, look back, and then try to figure out how to not repeat it. And then when you become resilient and you jump back up, and then you get hit again, because it's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Get knocked down.
Get knocked down. And then you get back up, and then you hit some higher pinnacles, and then you get knocked down again.
Right.
And getting knocked down comes in many different ways. It can come in a business financial way. It can come in bad decisions. It can come in personal life. The people that you're surrounded with.
Right.
All of it has an impact.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we're decision makers. As a business owner, we're making decisions, and a lot of people rely on our decisions.
Right.
Goes to having clarity in your mind.
Absolutely.
And clarity can sometimes be distracted by different distractions.
Yep.
For men, it could be women, it could be drugs, it could be drinking. or it could be some kind of other obsession of something.
Right.
You know, and I think that they might run parallels too with women too. I mean, all of those can be distractions as well. You know, so
yeah, for me it was a lot of personal stuff, grieving the loss of the business, and like you said, when you lose it all, you know, what does that feel like? And it's hard because when I did have a lot of people say like, "Oh, cry me a river. You moved to the south of France, like how beautiful." And yes, absolutely, I am a lucky girl, no doubt. You know, like I have a beautiful husband, a beautiful life. But when the core of who you are as an entrepreneur is taken away from you, who are you?
Yeah.
It's like ripping your career out of your hand, and you really don't know who you are at that moment. And then you have all the personal stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking to me right now. You're
Am
talking.
I?
Yeah, we're on the same page right now.
So you relate. It's like you strip somebody away, and you really look at yourself and go, "What am I gonna do?"
Right.
Like, I know I'm not going to sit on the beach for the rest of my life. No. Like that to me. And I, you know, by the way, live in a very touristy town. My street is the most trafficked street in the south of France. And it's like walking downstairs into Mardi Gras. Oh, you cannot get away from it.
Wow.
You know, you
every
have to
day.
Every day.
Every day.
So you know, for me, it was like, how do I live a normal
kind of exciting,
life?
though.
It is exciting. Yeah. It is exciting.
Do you travel do you visit often?
I live there.
Okay.
So I live there. I live in France. I have 2 homes there. And I have parked my ass here in San Jose for a while to see my business grow. Okay. But I also knew that I had to get some sobriety under my belt. Ooh. I was drinking a lot.
While you were out there in south of France.
Yeah, it got bad.
Hey, the good drinks and
good wine, that's for sure.
Good wine and good food.
Well, good wine and good food. I gained 40 pounds.
I don't know where, but
I lost it since then.
So the reason why I asked is I've never been to France, and I would love to go to France, and I would love to be in the heart of it all.
Yeah. Well,
so when you go, let me know.
I'll be there next week, actually. Okay. My husband just dropped off a plane today.
Okay.
Anyway, and I'm going there next week for a few weeks, and then I come back. So yeah, you know, business again, when it's a baby, I realized very quickly, as much as the experience that I've had in business, thinking that I would be able to excel very quickly, it doesn't work like that.
No.
You know, these babies have to be taken care of. Yeah. And business is a baby. Yeah. And I did. I took care of it for, I don't know, 6 months now. It's been that I've been really nurturing it, giving it. And
so it's a relaunch, basically.
It's a whole new business, a whole new French concept.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can hear her.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We got an audience back here.
My grandbaby's
your
here.
Grandbaby here.
I have 2 grandbabies.
Nice.
That's the other thing. I think I would hope to say, without sounding pompous, that I can honestly say that what does a new 50 look like, right? Yeah. And my birthday's coming up, and that's been the topic lately. Like, you don't look 50. Or a woman walked in actually to the salon today. My husband is a witness. She came in and she said, "I heard you do permanent makeup." I said, "Yes, I need a deposit." She said, "Okay." And I said, "You're going to make a deposit that quickly?" She goes, "I'm just looking at you. I want whatever you got." So that's good. Yeah. Sell yourself.
You're a representation of what your business stands for. I believe
so. Yeah, I think so.
We have to.
You know, I think some would say, have told me, they think I found the secret to longevity and looking good, and I will stand by my work. I don't offer anything that I don't believe in.
Got it.
So that is truly how I feel, is that if you come into my salon, know that anything I suggest to you means that I believe that you need it. I don't sell you on bullshit. I don't.
Yeah. Well, you got to be authentic and genuine about what you do, right? If you want to have especially if you're at a certain price point, right? And I'm sure the stuff that you're selling is not cheap.
I'm in Los Gatos. I've worked my whole life in Los Gatos.
Well said. It's Los Gatos. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I always tell people when they don't know what Los Gatos is, when I meet people from around the world, it's very easy to say, okay, number one, Silicon Valley, people can relate to that. Yeah. We are the highest paid and highest cost of living in all of America, other than I believe Manhattan, I think it is. We're the number 2. So it is expensive to live here, but we also have the best of the best, I would say. We have the best best entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know, if you're making it in the Silicon Valley, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, and people have to believe you. You have to be, like you said, authentic.
Right.
And authentically represent yourself and your business. People want to do business with people.
That's right.
I can have a mediocre facial, but people are going to like you. And thank God I still have a very good, strong reputation that stands by me.
There you
so
go.
That's amazing to have seen my loyal clients come back.
Reputation is everything.
Hey, I got a good one.
Integrity,
Thank God, yeah.
And just doing right by people. You know, it goes a long way, and I get that because being in the entertainment business for so many years, I understood that if I gave my customers the best service, the best experience, they always came back, and they didn't mind spending their money
because they believe you. You know, when you deliver something good, and I think a competitive price, but you're being also, you know, giving, very giving. Even the richest women that I know, they want to feel like they're being treated fairly.
Yeah,
you know, and like you said, the giving heart is huge.
Yeah.
I've always been a philanthropist. I stand by that. I love giving back to the community. And one of the things I would love to tell people is, you know, if you have something, you know, if you have a good dinner on Christmas planned, somebody else doesn't. Okay? If you have a good new pair of tennis shoes and you got the old ones sitting in your closet, guess what? Somebody else is going to look at your new tennis shoes the way you have those sitting in that closet. Ooh. So I'm going to encourage, right? Deep. I want to encourage every single human being, no matter what monetary, you know, showings you have in your bank account.
Yeah.
I want you to sit down tonight when you look at your meal and say, if I can afford a $10 whatever to somewhere else tonight, let me go do that. And there's so many ways to give back.
There's so many ways. And I believe in philanthropy as well. I've definitely, one of the things that I've learned and I've experienced in business, that the more I give and help others, the more that comes back my way.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And I'm not, and I don't do it for those reasons. It became a part of me.
How did it become a part of you? I'll tell you why it became a part of me.
So being in the entertainment business for so many years, all I knew was me, right? And it was such a non-reciprocating universe for me because everybody wanted, and it just was a different mindset. When I lost everything in 2008, 9, around that time, and I had to really just kind of soak back, like really step back, soak in what this current situation was. And when I pivoted in my life and I started this other business where I started putting people to work and helping others, what I realized is that all of the abundance that started coming back as I was helping others.
Absolutely.
And that's how I was able to build this company from 0 to 100 million in 5 years.
Nice.
That to me, and it was just the more we gave. I mean, I employed, but in the amount of years that we were in business, we probably did over 50,000 people that came through our doors. We put them through the agency. At one point, we had over 1,000 employees at one time, and it just. And the people that we were helping, 97% of them were Latinos, 40% of them were Latinas, and 60% were Latinos. And if I had to go to war, I'd take the Latinas over the Latinos because they were my guerreras, you know.
We can be feisty.
Oh, feisty.
We are feisty firecrackers, no doubt.
Trust me, I know. So I just, what I realized though is that by giving them an opportunity to be able to provide also for themselves and their families and all of that, it just opened up my heart, my universe, my energy, and all that just transformed to something else.
I love that.
And as I became more aware of it, right? Because then you become aware of it, then you start to seek for that versus. Listen, I had all the toys. I had the Ferrari. I had the nice loft. I've had the big. I mean, just have had the stuff that comes in life of excess.
Yes.
Then, and I thought that was what
was going to fulfill you.
Right.
And it doesn't.
Will fulfill and what made me. And then when you realize that once you have it, and you've had it for some time, it gets old. Just like anything, it gets old. And then you realize that it becomes maintenance, and then high maintenance, and And then
now you don't have the newest Louis Vuitton or the newest Chanel.
Right.
It's true. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the maintenance that goes into a Ferrari, it's no joke. I mean, it's
Right.
$2,500 just for an oil change. It's like,
Oh, Lord.
you know, it's like just an oil change. I could have done it myself.
We're not getting a Ferrari, babe.
So
He might beg to differ. I love what you were saying earlier about how you were giving back and the whys, you know, and just to, if I may touch on that just one more bit, because when I did start my business again, it was a huge why. Why am I going to do this all over again? And I didn't just like start from the little again. Yeah. Like the last business, I started small and I grew really big. And very quickly, within 3 years, I had already tripled my size of my business. And this time I kind of went, go big or go home. I bid on a lot real quickly. And then I started to kind of freak out. I did the freak out part where I was like, ooh, did I do this? Like, why did I do this? This is going to get scary. But when I did ask myself my why, before I did it all, I had this huge epiphany moment of, I'm going to apprentice girls, women, young women.
So we're going to go into the nonprofits right now.
Yeah.
And I want to learn more about the Heritage Home.
So Heritage, so, you know, there's a lot of small nonprofit organizations, and I got to know a few of them when I owned my first business. I used to, I still do. I mean, you know, hang out with a lot of, you know, beautiful philanthropists in Los Gatos, right?
Yeah.
And
you're going to have to crack that book open here, you know, and introduce me to some of these people.
Yeah,
you know?
they're amazing human beings. You know, my clients have big hearts, and that's one of the things that I think, you know, what makes the world go round is, you know, they have money, but they also give a lot. And I love these women. And a lot of them are my clients, and they're just amazing human beings. They would put on big fundraisers like Witchy Women and women, you know, it's like what you see on TV, the paddle boards going and donating hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I went to a Witchy Woman
Did you?
event one time. Yeah.
No way.
I don't want to give up the names here.
Okay. So
I was at one of those Witchy Women.
Yeah.
It's pretty
they're intense. Yeah, they're great. And I used to
and they all participate, and they all
we dress up. And
everyone eggs everyone on too, and it's who's gonna lift that paddle up.
Right. So they're and I would donate packages from my old spa, right?
Yeah.
So that fundraiser doesn't happen anymore, but the women still continue. So anyway, I was introduced to Heritage Home.
They don't do the event anymore, huh?
Not that one anymore.
Okay.
No.
That the Hayes Mansion.
Yeah. Well, that was one of them. This one was at the Fairmont.
Okay. Yeah. That's right.
And so anyway, there's the Grace House. They're all some of these are put on by City Team, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
So they accept a lot of donations, but particularly this one is to help young women who have suffered through trauma. A lot of them are single, right? They've suffered abuse. Maybe some have done, maybe drugs and stuff, and they're getting clean and they have to graduate the program. Once they do, they actually come out just like anything. You come out stronger, more alive. But my personal goal is to take donate, and I've collaboratively gotten together with other women in the beauty industry that are willing to donate their talents. So meaning like you can take a $10,000 course, which I have done multiple of those, and then they would donate their certifications basically, and get these girls lined up with the right tools so they can have financial freedom doing what they love to do in the beauty industry. I mean, what a gift to give a woman who doesn't have that monetary, financial, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean?
Or just support, resources.
It takes a lot. So a lot of people are either doing it illegally, and unfortunately, you know that. People do illegal tattoos and all that stuff all the time. But we would love to be able to give these women that gift and then use their talents, and then they can work for me. I mean, what a beautiful gift that would be. Yeah. And so I think that's what my mission is. And as far as giving back and clearly giving back, period, to the organization.
Yeah. No, that's again, that's a good way to kind of paying it forward.
Yep. And one of them already works for me.
There you go.
Yeah. And and so two girls work, and they are making their way, doing what they love, which is awesome. Yeah.
You sponsor them, you give them the resources, the opportunity, right?
Exactly.
And you just be surprised. That's the future, right? We got to continue to pay it forward and be able to give to the next generation that's coming in that wants to that likes what we do. I mean, nightlife was an interesting one for me, and because I didn't have a protege to say. I mean, nightlife has its lifespan.
Right.
I think that we were part of the last generation that kept it going for so long. And the generation that's happening now, it's just a lot different. Social media, there was no social media back then.
Social media, right.
Like there is now.
I'm trying to keep up with content.
Trust me, that's all I think
so
we're
funny.
doing now these days. We're just trying to build content just to stay relevant in that world, if that's the world we choose to, right? Because you can have another type of business and not have to. Well, it's very rare that of a business that doesn't need to have online presence or some kind of social media presence, but it seems like just everything has been designed now to require it. I mean, the podcast here, we're content creating all the time now. All the different shows that we're producing here inside of Studio B. Myself, we gotta keep building content here, right? We gotta not only that, but I enjoy this. I love doing this because I love sharing stories like yours.
Yeah, I love that too. I love being able to just say, if I can do it, just like we've heard that before. I know it's cliche. If I can do it, you can too.
That's
but
right.
it is really
I've said
true.
that too. Yeah,
but it is true. And the thing is, another thing, that's what makes the world go round. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. We know that. And if everybody could do it, everyone would. We know that too.
Right.
And some of us are just born into it, and we love it. And some people want to be that, and they just need to kind of know what it takes, right? Yeah. And given the tools. And so I think that could be also a great mentorship for women too, is to say, this is what it takes. You can take from it what you want. I can't make you, be successful. You have to want it. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
I want this so bad this time around that I just have that burning desire.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean?
You're obsessed for it. One of the things that I always tell people, and it's a phrase that I've used regularly, is how bad do you want it? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, that's the question. How bad do you want it? Because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And I call them entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs, that's funny.
Right? They want to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
But then when you really peel behind and you ask them, well, how bad do you want it?
Or they're not willing to work that hard.
Well, that's my point, is that if they don't have the work ethic, then they will not be successful. Everyone thinks, I put a CEO name or entrepreneur or whatever title they want to put, president, whatever.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything unless you put in the work. Right. I told the guys, I said, do you know what it's like to make $1 million? No. I said, do you know what it's like to have payroll? No. Do you know what it's like to pay taxes? No. Do you understand what it takes to manage people? No. Then please don't try to give me advice on something that you have no clue on.
That's it.
Because
I love that.
If you have no clue,
right.
What are you doing?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I love that because it's so true. I love taking advice from mentors. It's always important to have a nice mentor, people that you are your advisors. I would also say, if you're looking into getting into business, I would always say, don't ask advice from anybody, because anybody is not going to give you good advice. Let me go ask my best friend. Let me go ask this, my aunt. Like, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. When you do business, you want to find a core value of people. Who's going to help me emotionally?
That's right.
Who's going to help me? Who has what I want?
That's right.
And I do that. I see there's a girl in LA that she landed on the cover of Forbes one year, and she lost everything during COVID. And I said, I'm going to pay attention to her. And sure enough, I took a few things that she was doing with her, and we're friends. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And sure enough, there's little things that you take away from everybody that you feel is a mentor. But that's important to always have that core team. I would say, you need advice on this, have a lawyer. A good lawyer always comes in handy. Yep. That kind of stuff.
Accountant. I always tell you want to build your team.
A team is important for sure.
In-house accounting, outside accounting, good sales team, good attorneys.
Yep.
Multiple attorneys if you need different. And once you build that team, and don't be afraid to spend money, because it takes money to make money.
I love that.
And I hate when people cut corners because they're trying to save a buck.
Or the other one. Okay, so have you gotten to this crossroad where you're growing and now you have no time?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I can sit down and continue doing X, Y, and Z, but I could pay for an assistant, or I could pay for a front desk person, or I could pay for a bookkeeper instead of doing those things myself, and then spend my time on the creative aspect and doing the things that I know I'm good at, which is, marketing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
social media is another one. Like, you can't hire any social media person, So sometimes people say, I'll do your social media. And I'm like, you don't know me.
Yeah.
And the other thing is being authentic behind the camera.
Right.
Before, did you get this too? Everything your brand has to look very consistent. Your brand has to do this. Your brand, I heard that a lot when I first started my business last year, when I was getting into the nitty gritty of what it was going to take. This year, you know what? I didn't listen to anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to get in front of the camera and I'm going to be stupid and I'm going to screw up and I'm going to have typos because I don't have the freaking time to redo it all.
Right.
And people would correct me.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you put out there, it's out there and you can't take it back. And you want to know something?
Yeah.
I went to a mentor and I said, what do you think about that comment?
Yeah.
And she goes, guess what, Ofelia?
Yeah.
You get to change your mind. You can say the sky is blue one day or green, and then the next day you get to say, sorry, the sky is actually blue. You can change your mind. It's okay.
There's a saying, when you stop giving a fuck what people think about you,
right.
you will be free.
Yeah.
You will be free.
Because the higher you climb, the more haters and the more, what do you call it? The fans?
Yeah. My hater fans or my hater clubs. You listen, I've reached some high points in my life and I've reached some low points in my life. People sometimes only see the highlights because they choose to see the highlights.
Right.
But sometimes, a good part of the time, people don't know the amount of work that it takes to get there.
Hey, I have a question. Since you've lost it all and come back from it, one of my yes.
Yeah.
There's something that I'm going through, which I think is interesting, and I'm being raw and real. And that's one thing. You know what? I don't mind like dishing it back out, because when people are doing things to me now, I get to get out in front of the camera and talk about it and say, you just gave me content. That's cool.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I noticed with losing everything and people seeing me at my most vulnerable, I feel like judged, maybe. Almost like I'm reminded constantly by certain people what I went through.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not a fun time for me.
Yeah.
You don't have to remind me that I was crawling my way back up out of crappiness.
You want them to remind you.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good lesson for me.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me.
One is, it tells you who they are in your circle. You can pick and choose if you want them. It's the saying, right, in The Godfather, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Let them do that, because that just turns into rocket fuel. I want people to remind me that I was eating shit back in the day. Why? Because that just reminds me, one, that's what you're more focused on. And two, it just reminds me that I never want to go back there. Ooh. And then number three, I turn that into my fuel. And it goes to adversity. We talked about this earlier.
For sure.
In business, adversity always comes before greatness.
Yes.
Period. And I've tested that. And not that I've tested it, I've seen it, I've experienced it. Right now, I'm currently going through some adversity, some personal adversity. But I know that after I pass this and I go through this and I grow through this adversity, that the other side is going to be great. Why? Yes. Because that's who I am. That's my DNA. I vibrate at a different frequency than a lot of other people do.
I love that. So do I, yeah.
And that's what happens. Sometimes you got to be able, sometimes your vibration is so high that you want to slow down to bring others up. But in reality, they need to turn it up to step up.
Right.
And business, personal life, and all of that, people got to turn it up.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love your perspective, for sure. I love that. Because there was this moment where I was surrounded by other professional women that knew kind of what I had gone through, but they didn't know that me back then. They met me as who I am now. And, one of them said, let go of the past.
Yes.
You're now this new person. Maybe you got to get rid of old friends.
Yes.
So then I thought,
now you're talking to me right now.
And then I started to think about that too. And so, it like you said, sometimes it's the reminder, and then ultimately it's what resonates with you.
Right.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's going to be when you tap into what it is that you need to move you forward. Right. And some people will continue to be a part of my life for sure. And others, I'm just going to have to know what their role is in my life.
That's it. You got you can either love some people up and close, or you can love some people from a distance. The other part is that Yes, let it go. Let it fucking go. Let it go. I mean, I got this reminder yesterday. Mauricio, you cannot force people to be around you that don't want to be around you. And I'm like, why? I'm a great guy. No, you just can't. And if they don't, fuck it. Let it go and move on. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that I need to take, for my own sayings. I wrote 3 books. Smoke and Mirrors talks about me in the nightlife industry. Decide, commit, execute. It's make a decision, commit, execute, right? Mm-hmm. And then my last one, my recent book, Assess, Address, Move On. Assess the situation, address the situation, and move the fuck on.
Okay.
The problem is that sometimes we don't listen to we have the answers to our own problems.
Right.
But we don't use them.
Right.
And then you get a good friend or a real friend or someone that cares and reminds you, hey, Mauricio, you have your face in shit right now. Mm. It's cool to be in it, but don't live in it.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
And that was something that really resonated with me. It's like you have to assess it, address it, and move on. And again, I'm not. I mean, we can have a whole other conversation on that right now. But that's just life. And in business, it's going to be your competitor is because you have competitors. We all have competitors. They're all going to try to take our business, right? And they're going to say things. They're going to put things out there. Good. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
Just keep
it moving.
Keep it moving. keep giving me by showing me your flaws. It makes me only better to how to make sure to not be like you.
So that's the thing, is not taking it personal either. Oof. And one of the other things that I've noticed that I'm going through right now is protecting my heart and protecting my brand. Because
why your heart? You're married. What
I mean by my heart is because I think when there's growing pains, like anything, you can get hurt. And I don't mean my husband. Okay. I mean like friendships and people,
relationships.
Business, it's like,
employees.
Again, it's like knowing that people will hurt you. And like we were just talking about, people will say things, people will do things. And then you just kind of go, how do I protect this? And of course, being female,
I felt you right now. I felt that in the chest.
Like you just want to go, I'm going to be okay. As scary as all of it can be, right? We all, have this vulnerability of what if I don't make it?
Right.
What if I can't provide for myself or do and make the goals that I have, that I want happen? So there's the what ifs, there's the fear that
false
drives
evidence appearing real.
I love that.
Yes.
It's so true, right? And we constantly, I think, as entrepreneurs go not true. I remember when I started my first business, somebody said to me, it was during the 2008 economic downfall, and she said, wow, this is a really risky time to be opening up a business. Mm-hmm. Now, I could have taken that comment to heart, right? Yeah. And again, that's what I mean, protect my heart. In that moment, I knew my heart was saying, not true. Just, no, not going to do that. I protected my heart. I knew in my heart that I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I did. I signed that lease. I did it. And it's a constant, no, you can let things resonate with you, comments, anything resonate with you. And once it resonates, it starts to take that root. And I think as successful entrepreneurs, we go, when I was going through my stuff too, in the last 3 years, and I was planning to open my business, people were saying, are you sure? Are you sure? And I would have to get mad sometimes at the people I love the most just say, don't even go there with me.
Yeah.
I would not be taking this stuff, but I did not believe in the bottom of my heart, in the root, in the pit of my stomach, that I was going to do it and do it right and make it. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want to do this if I knew I was going to fail. Now, there are failures. We know that.
Yeah, it's part of the journey.
My first business had to shut down.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't do anything, but it was taken away. And that happens. And sometimes I love when you use the word pivot recently. You learn how to pivot in business.
That's right.
So if as a business owner, if you don't learn how to pivot, I think that could be detrimental.
That's right.
Because if you continue on that path where you think that's how you're going to make your money, and all of a sudden it's not working, guess what? You might fail.
Yeah.
So I've learned to pivot quite quickly.
You're hitting home right now, because I'm at a point right now where I have to pivot.
Yep.
And if you don't pivot, you will drown. You will kill your business. You will die. Yeah. You need to always constantly be on your toes.
Yep.
and always be looking ahead and looking at what's coming at you.
And what sometimes we think is, I'm a believer. I believe in a higher power. So I believe that sometimes what we envision for ourselves is actually a lot bigger than what we even can think of.
Yeah, we have to, but we have to continue to think big.
Yeah, we think big, and then imagine if your higher power has it even bigger planned for you.
Yeah.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm thinking I might, I need to make X amount of dollars, and then all of a sudden, the end of the week, I'm like, what the heck? I just quadrupled that for my team. That's amazing.
Yes.
So all of a sudden you start thinking, I think this, I've envisioned this, but now it's bigger than what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But it is learning to pivot. I thought my business was going to have a certain kind of look and feel with certain things, and I pivoted very quickly, and that other thing ended up being the thing that just took off, and it's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. Learning to pivot. That's a big one in business, I think.
You have to. And then again, going back to adversity, right? Shit comes at us. I mean, I know that we talked a little bit about you going through some adversity in life,
Oh my God, yeah.
Personal adversity. And we won't dive deep, but let's just touch it because it's real.
Yeah. For me, alcohol was my kryptonite. Someone else said that. To me, and mine was fast and furious. So for me,
it gave me chills.
Right.
When I thought of that, I'm thinking shots.
It was fast and furious. And what I mean is I was a social drinker, and I didn't drink a lot, but I did have those little tidbits when I was young. I was raised by an Argentinian father. Yeah. So it was totally normal to have a sip of wine at the table all the time growing up. It was no big deal. Fast forward into other, the
Malbecs are amazing wines.
Malbecs are amazing. Yeah. So wine drinker, being in France, all of that. But when I was isolated, alone, lost everything, the most vulnerable you could be, my why I drank turned into different, right? It wasn't fun anymore. It was to escape the problems.
Right.
That's where I think it turns. And then what happened was I turned into vodka. And then it was like I needed more and more. Just like any addiction, you crave it more, you want it more. And mine was fast and furious. Thank God I wasn't one of those people that suffered for years and years of alcoholism, if you will. Mine was a very short amount of time. But in that short amount of time, it came to take me out. It was like, you are going to drink until oblivion, and you are going to want me so bad until you are just a blackout drinker. That's not cool.
That's deep.
It is deep. And so it does hit some of us like that.
Some people, they go to that level. They then, because they can't hit it, they go to the next level, which is drugs.
Yep.
And then.
And I did not, thank God. But I have met people in this journey. I had to go to rehab.
No.
And when I say had to, it was an intervention. And these are things that, like, I was just talking to another friend, and she said, I would have bet you $1 million that I would never be in rehab.
Wow.
Or I would have bet you $1 million that I was never going to be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It was not my problem. It was not an issue for me.
Yeah.
But it hit me so quickly in such a short amount of time that I'm telling you, it came to take me out. Family forgives, but even then, there's a lot of forgiveness that happens when you I guess you would title yourself an alcoholic. I don't drink anymore, by the way. It doesn't serve me any purpose. You know what, too? Doing this sober now, entrepreneurship sober, is really freaking fun. I have done so much in the last 7 months being open that I would say, in my old business in years.
Wow.
Because
I think it's a different mindset, though, too.
It's a different mindset, but all of it, right?
Yeah.
That whole big picture, you put it all together, the life experiences, the fact that I'm doing it sober, the drive, all of it stirred up in a bubble. Man, it's like, I'm down. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready.
It's kind of inspiring me here right now.
I think that, the why, the when you've gone through it. And, for me, to touch on that spiritual moment, that God moment, I didn't die that night. I could have died. I was out. I was out for the count. And it was some of the things that I've learned in rehab, which was call somebody, those things. And I did. And I look back and I go, why did I do that? Why did I put myself through that? Because you know what? Alcohol is a disease. It does cripple you. You are powerless once you start drinking. If you are the type that I am, which is the kind that it will take you out. I'm not going to say never. Right now, I do not want to drink at all. I'm being so productive. I love that I get to be there for people and be inspiring and have words of wisdom. But I could also be at the bar across the street drinking and going, with that same person. And instead, I'm breathing so much life into human beings right now that I don't want to shade it at all.
I think that's inspiring.
Thank you.
I think that what it does is it's going to ground a lot of people that are watching this, because there's a lot of addictions out there, a lot of issues. And
you know what? One out of 4 people battle addiction or alcoholism. By the way.
I don't know the stats.
I do.
I do,
and it's high. Yeah. It's really high. The number one cause of I think I've talked about this before, but it is cirrhosis of the liver.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
we glorify it, and I'm not knocking anybody who drinks.
Yeah. Once you get cirrhosis, you're done. You're toast.
But that's the number one cause of death in a major hospital. I won't name it because my friend works there, but it's crazy. So it is something to not be taken. I love the new movement though of this new generation not drinking, the mocktails that are coming up.
Yeah.
Because I still like to feel sexy.
Yeah.
I want to sit down at a restaurant and hold a pretty drink.
martini glass, anything. With a mocktail in it.
But there's actually non-alcoholic wine out there, which is kind of fun. But they're naming a mocktail for me in Mexico, actually, where I did my rehab. It's called Ofelia. It's literally club soda water, a splash of cranberry, lemon, and Splenda. No calories.
There you go. I don't know about the sugar though part, but that's
just a little.
Just a little. Yeah, you can't.
Hey, a mocktail has like quadruple.
Yeah, no, it's bananas. I gotta say it's inspiring to hear your journey, to see where you started, and then your path, and then where you're at, and then what inspires you, and then at the same time, you along your journey, you're giving back, you're paying it forward. I mean, you seem to have it well rounded.
Yeah.
At least, while we can share it, not a lot of people get to see that behind the scenes, because they only get to see the highlights.
They see the Instagram, and it's pretty funny, right? Like there's a lot of, like, oh yeah, I know what you're doing, and da-da-da. And, I do keep some of it personal, private for sure. But, Instagram is one thing. I love this saying: if you're gonna talk crap about me, at least invite me to the table so I can tell you how I picked up the pieces.
Ooh,
right?
Hey, I love when people talk. It just, again, I look at it and I turn that thing around and turn it into rocket fuel for myself.
Yeah.
It inspires and motivates me, because if I'm doing it, I must be doing something.
Yeah.
I had there's people that have put comments on my stuff, and I just I'll read it. I just I don't engage it.
Right.
But I'll read it. I'm aware of it, and cool.
Hey, if we try to do battle with every single person, come on, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
That's where I love talking about my higher power. He can handle it for me. I got the biggest bodyguard right there, and I got the biggest ATM too. His name is God.
There you go. There you go. So what else is in plan for you? What do you what's the future looking like? I mean, you started one business. By the way, what is the name?
My name is a Beauté, with the French accent, bar.
Okay.
And so funny, it's the only bar I like to hang out at lately. But it's fun. I saw this vision when I was in France. I was walking by a salon, and it was that moment, another visualization moment. Mm-hmm. I looked at it and I said, I turned around, looked at my husband, and I said, if I ever opened up a salon again, it would look like that. It was really chic, kind of pop, modern French. Everything I have is from France too, but I brought it all. And I did. I never ran into that salon again, but I remember what it looked like.
Got it.
And I recreated it.
Nice.
Yeah. And so we offer a lot of fun stuff, a lot of girly stuff.
What's the plan for that expansion? Are you going to open
franchise? Hello.
Franchise? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My concept is pretty cool.
Okay.
I mean, it's beauty. Mm-hmm. But I also involved med spa.
Okay.
So the Botox and the fillers and that. So you do everything pretty, like the nails and the hydrofacials and the tattooing and stuff like that. I'm going to have
to come by. I need a facial.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I do a lot of men, actually. A lot of men who are in camera. A lot of CEOs that speak in front of crowds. Lawyers who have to be in front of people all the time. I have a lot of great high-end clients,
nice.
Men. owning business. But hey, I don't discriminate. Anybody can come get a facial.
I want to come and do that.
Everybody needs to take care of their skin.
On top of that, the Botox, I started doing Botox on my jaw.
Okay, to calm it down.
Yeah, so that I didn't, and actually I've seen such a big difference because before I was clenching all the time.
Right.
Now I don't clench. You know, my jaw doesn't hurt as much. So there's definitely some pluses to that. The lady that did it for me, she was like, "Oh, you want to do?" I was like, "No, don't touch my face."
Just a little.
No,
just a little.
That's how it starts. Just
beauty is pain. It hurts to be beautiful.
I'm like, just a little. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good. Just do the jaw like the dentist said. But
I love that. It hurts to be beautiful. Anything beautiful, to be honest with you, is not that comfortable.
No, beauty is painful. You know,
it actually is not that fun.
Yeah.
But I do like to bring the experience in, and that's why it's called a French concept. When you go to France and you get a treatment, you really do feel like a queen. You know, not in every place, obviously, but most places that I have done my research and development, I feel like a princess. They take their time in making you feel good. That's what I love. You know, you don't skip these moments where you get to just have a genuine conversation with somebody. Look at somebody in the eyes and know that there's intention behind it.
Yeah.
So quickly here in the Silicon Valley, we rush off. How many things can we do at once?
Yeah.
And all of that. And for me, I like to say, when you come to my salon, I want you to know from the moment you walk in, I want you to feel special. I want you to feel and know that you're going to walk out of there loving yourself just a little bit more. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to come I'm
Absolutely.
gonna have to come and do the experience with
For
you,
sure.
and then definitely
get a men's pedicure, or get a facial.
Absolutely,
come have fun.
If you provide all those services, absolutely,
it feels personal. You know,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I don't want anyone to feel like they're just coming in and doing something off a menu. You feel like we know you. We know our clients really
Nice.
well. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to schedule it
Yes,
soon.
for sure.
I definitely got to come out there.
Absolutely.
Definitely a pedicure and a facial for me.
Why not?
So,
Yeah, we do the hydrofacials. We do a lot of fun stuff.
Cool.
I've been doing hydrofacials before they were ever even a thing, believe it or not. I'm grandfathered into their program. It's so funny. It's
Nice.
we used it for a long time. Yeah.
What would you tell the audience out there, the next entrepreneur, the next woman, the next Latina woman, or let's just say woman, period?
Yeah.
Because I love to cover all community, all.
Yeah.
You know, what would you say?
Yeah.
What would you tell them to do? Or
I would say, the first thing I would say is what makes you different. What makes you different? Because anybody can find anything, right? You go on Google and anybody can find lip blushing or ombre powder on eyebrows. What is your twist? What makes you special? For me, I'm European trained for sure. I love Europe. I've always loved Europe, and I've always just done my research there and then bring it back here.
Yeah.
That sets me apart. Nobody does my
Absolutely.
techniques. Nobody.
Okay.
I stand by that. I guarantee my work.
Nobody here in the Bay Area or here?
Heck no.
Okay.
There's no way.
Yeah.
The stuff that I do, and I go to Europe, you tell me that they went to the places I went to and got trained.
Right.
No, they didn't.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking the question. I just want to.
Yep. No, that's why, when people say, oh, I do that too, or somebody will say, oh, I've done lymphatic drainage. I can get one. No, you don't have my lymphatic drainage technique. There's no way, because I bring it globally. I'm a world traveler.
Yeah.
So I love bringing things and special. I love figuring out what they're doing that we're not doing, and bringing it into my own, the Ofelia Ferere method.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's my brand for sure.
You're gonna have to come out with your own line of products.
I do have that already.
Okay.
I work with a doctor from Stanford.
Okay.
And so we work on our oils and our teas to help with cancer patients specifically, hair growth and things like that. I tattoo, paramedical tattooing. Okay. So I fix scars and things like that. So I do some pretty high-end, really cool things. The other thing that I have planned for 2025 is Beauty Bar Academy. Okay. So I will be training. My goal is to help, like I said, give the tools to other women so that they can learn how to do this correctly, not out of, chop shops and not out of your backyard, and get your license. Know how to do things the right way. Don't cut corners like you said. You said.
Get some certification programs out there, and there's definitely a lot of opportunity out there. I think that right now the world is shifting again, and everyone that wants to be the next YouTuber or the next
Right.
something that's failing, right? Because they're failing.
It's oversaturated
They
now,
need to
yeah.
pivot and they need to figure things out. And I think that we're going back to some grassroots.
Absolutely.
And people, like you said, like your grandmother said, right?
Yeah.
She said everyone needs to get their hair
Everyone
done.
needs to get their, it will always spend money on beauty or be sick.
Yeah.
And it was true. And she was so ahead of her time. I
Yeah.
owe it to my mother for sure. And the legacy continues. Both of my girls are working for me, are both in the beauty industry, my daughters.
Nice.
And I love just taking, like I said, fresh talent and, showing them the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Beauty Bar Academy launching in 2025.
There you
I'll
go.
be, if anyone's interested in learning, I will be that person to mentor.
Let me know. I would definitely love to
thank
funnel
you.
some people that way, you
Yeah.
know, through our reach and the people that we know.
Yeah.
And absolutely, that's good.
So that's what's going on. And get back to work and continue the hustle. Know that it's a bigger picture. It's not just about me.
No.
There's a bigger picture. God kept me alive for a reason.
You know, I tested my lives many
Yeah.
times, and I'm still here, and I'm here for greater good, for bigger purpose.
I love
and,
that.
Like I said to others, I have a saying that I share: nothing or no one gets in the way of my success. And meaning nothing, no situation, no COVID, no nothing, no problem. Or anyone, no family member, no significant other, no nothing. Just
I love that.
we have to be strong.
And to say like what you said, no one, nothing. My motto is actually printed on a lot of my marketing. It's called "Love Yourself Better."
Ooh, I love that.
And the reason the
love
reason
that.
I said that is because it's just like being on an airplane. I can relate with my husband. It's you put your life mask on first, right? And then you can take care of everybody.
That's
but
right.
if you really don't love yourself at the core,
Yeah.
right? You're a snappy person, you're dealing with traumas. We've all got traumas, all that kind of stuff. You need to love yourself so much. The ugly that you've been through, the good that you are now, when you learn to love yourself at that root, that inside, the outside is just like a byproduct.
Yeah.
I love making women beautiful. I do. It's my passion. I always say your beauty is my top priority, but I also love to say, love yourself better.
Yeah.
Learn how to love yourself better. When you come to my business, I don't charge extra for therapy, by the way.
Mental health/mental health.
No, I just love loving on people.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, well,
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
We got the siren going. Did you hear it?
I just want to say, it's been an honor. I know we've been trying to get this dialed in, and
Yeah.
it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. It's
Thank you.
inspiring to see an amazing Latina
Thank
woman.
you.
Business entrepreneur that's been doing it for a very long time. You're not an overnight
Success.
sensation or anything like that.
Yeah.
You've been true to what it takes to be an entrepreneur. It takes consistency. It takes time. It takes effort. All of the big things that in order to be that successful entrepreneur, and you've hit it all. So I want to just say thank you so much for being here and making the time. And let's continue to be a support in each other.
Absolutely.
And,
I love what you're doing. I love
yeah.
the stuff that you're doing too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And 2025 is
Yeah.
There's some great things right now. We just got to get through this little patch right now. We're new studio. Obviously, from our old studio to this, it's a completely 180 degree change. I mean, it's amazing.
It's beautiful, by the way. I love it.
Thank you. And
the location's awesome too.
yeah, thank you. And for us, it's just all about growth. And then again, becoming the number one content creator, content house of Silicon Valley. And that's our goal.
Awesome.
We want to set that standard and that bar high because we know what we can do here with what we have. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I just plug my
yeah,
social
no,
media?
absolutely. Yeah,
so
go for it.
Beauté Bar.
Okay.
So BEAUTE Bar, BARLG. You can follow us on Instagram. We have pop-up events on. I have a private parking lot, by the way. So we're going to close off that street and do lots of fun pop-ups like Puerto Rican food trucks, and
let me know
all
when you
that kind of
let me
stuff.
know when you do that, because I definitely can help you. You know, I did all the big block parties here in San Jose. So,
Perfect. See,
definitely.
So we're working on that right now.
Plus, I'd love to be in Los Gatos. So
Hey, Los Gatos is the place to be, right? It is great food, great shopping, great services.
Great. Awesome. Well, we definitely support what you're doing and your movement.
Thank you.
Thank you again for being here and sharing your time.
Thank you, Mauricio.
All right. I appreciate it.
Like, comment, subscribe. Mauricio Mejia live on YouTube.